Hello, everyone. Welcome to the delayed Symbaroum stream. We're telling tales. We make atmospheric role playing games here on the internet for you to watch and enjoy and maybe mock mercilessly as well. Any reaction is a good reaction, as all of the 21st century so far has told us. So, what are we doing? It's Symbaroum tonight. We're going to introduce the players in just a moment, but first it's time for some promo. If you check below this window that I'm trapped in on your magical viewing box, you will see that there are lots of links. There's links to YouTube and links to Twitch. You're watching on one, please check us out on the other. Links to our social media, our Discord, our Patreon. Those are all very exciting things. We currently run one weekly show, which is it's been a while since I've said that, which is Symbaroum on Wednesdays, although it's not tonight, it's on a Thursday. But very, very soon, our second series, our Monday nights, will be back on when Johnny is running Vaesen, the sort of Nordic folk horror system from Fria Ligan, which we're very much looking forward to. Hopefully, there'll be some kind of third series on the go soon as well. We do one-shots once a month on Saturdays, and the next one is in, obviously, October. It's coming up. We don't know what it is yet. It's something I'm running, not sure. Could be any number of things. We're waiting to kind of get that together. So stay tuned for that, I suppose. So really, my message to you about what the channel does is, well, wait and see. We don't know. It's all good. Don't panic. It's going to be fine. There we go. You may have noticed I have a slightly different backdrop. I've switched my streaming room. So now you can see my lovely TTRPG collection behind me. That's leaning the wrong way, Matt. There we go. Look at that. How exciting for you. You get to browse my collection while I ramble about Symbaroum. Okay, let's start bringing on the players and talking about what happened last time we were sat down and playing Symbaroum, which was, I think, 1796 was the year in which we last played Symbaroum. But I'm sure my players can remember it because they are very good at these things, and also they probably went and watched their bits again. So let's start with John. John plays Sir Arindar, last scion of House Dar, and character with new art. Look at that. Art to go alongside the relatively new art for the other characters as well. There is Sir Arindar with his meerkat, whose name I've forgotten because
Farron.
Ferrin. Yes, it's fun. I also haven't run Symbaroum since 1796. It's you got to bear with me. So, John, tell us how the last session started.
So we set off on the road, and after a while came across a small camp, which some of us immediately suspected was going to be some sort of horrible bandit trap, but turned out was just quite a natural gathering of different groups as a good stopping off point between Thistlehold and Carvosti. We camped there for the night. We made friends with the merchant, who is very happy to be serving the heroes of Thistlehold. We ate some delicious stew from some hunters, and Aaron had a conversation with an old friend from the tribes, who some of you may remember from Fetters of Stone, and had a brief chat about all of the goings on among the northern tribes. Yeah, and then we didn't get stabbed in the night and bought some rope off the merchant, and off we went and had an altogether quite pleasant time at the camp.
It's always good when you don't get stabbed in the night. So, to lead us further into the events of last session, let's bring on our second player, Sam. Sam plays Ascarai, Changeling, Ranger, and Scout, and one-shotter of various bad guys with his bow. Hello to Sam. I have a fancy new streaming room. Sam has a fancy new streaming cam. Look at that.
It's not fancy, but it is new. Mostly because my old one was even more broken than it was in previous weeks. But yeah, I'm happy to be back playing Symbaroum. Hoping we won't need to be killing too many bad guys. But yeah, we carried on from the camp towards the place that we were headed, which was some kind of vale where Ganderold believed he'd find some elf activity. Was hoping to at the very least. I think I can't remember exactly what it was that tipped him off that we were nearby. Maybe large rocks again. I know it's definitely large rocks for the.
Yeah, I believe it was like some. I couldn't even remember that it was large rocks the first time, which is why I made it large rocks the second time. So that just goes to show. Yeah, there were some rocks at the edge of the path that he knew to kind of turn off to the east when you reached them.
So we kind of headed off the path in the way that Gandalf indicated, and eventually got to kind of a cliff edge, basically leading where we could leading down to the vale, where we could sort of see what was going on. And more or less what we saw was a very, very dense forest. And I think we could also see some like man-made structures kind of in front of us in the middle of the vale.
Yeah, specifically, you could see like a tall tower framed by sort of skeletal branches.
Yeah. And we had the tough decision of basically either where we were was a large drop, like a large cliff, it would be difficult to get down. We could go to the ends of the vale where it would be easier to get down, but then we'd have probably a long journey through a very dense forest to get to where we actually wanted to go. And so ultimately we decided, after a bit of discussion about what would happen to the donkeys and how much rope we had, we decided to go for it where we were and just make the descent and take the quicker route.
Absolutely, and that went great. As our next player will detail, it's Chris. Chris plays Steo, former infantryman turned city guard turned sellsword. Curmudgeonly sort of grandfather to the group, kind of. If your grandfather would be happy to leave you to die. And that's not true. Chris said that the other day, I think last night, about Steo, and I thought Steo's the one who gives a shit, isn't he?
Steo's the exact opposite. Steo's the one who wants everyone to survive except himself.
Yeah, Steo is constantly trying to take the hit for other people.
I think I might need to revisit my play notes for this character. But anyway, it shouldn't be too long till I get a new character anyway, if the next events are anything to go by. Down the cliff danced Arendar, not even having to make a roll due to the acrobatics. I think Ascarai made it. Alindra also, I recall, made it just about. I think there was some drama near the end, like some close calls. I was an XP burnt. I think an XP may have been burnt.
Someone certainly burnt some XP, I think.
And then finally, I came down, obviously in full plate armor, feeling less than confident. Rolled my quick check, which is actually not my dump stat, but failed it magnificently, and basically just took the express route down, cracked a few ribs, was deeply unhappy about the entire situation, and almost died. But we decided
you were Homer on the skateboard into the jump. Yeah.
But survive we did, and we pushed on.
Absolutely. And to detail what was found when you did push on, let's bring on Stephen, our final player. Stephen plays Alindra, former Templar novice turned, sellsword, as you all are. Stephen, what's down there in that there vale?
Aside from a sort of bleeding old man.
Aside from a bleeding old man.
There was a sort of there was a path through the trees heading towards the tower that was a kind of our destination. There was a big statue, I think outside of the tower, like wall, if I recall correctly.
I think the big statue that we might be referring to, I think that's on the inside.
Oh,
of the
okay,
tower.
but so there were statues either side of the path on the way up.
Yes, there were, and in fact, we have some art of that. If John wants to pop that.
One moment.
But Stephen, carry on.
Yeah. So I was like, "Where's the artwork? It's really good." So the tower is surrounded by a wall. Inside of the wall, I seem to recall the foliage was kind of different. This is all very sort of tall trees, right? Sort of lifted up to the top of the vale. And have I got this right? And then inside it was. Had they?
I think
not
there's
grown
still the tall trees, but the kind of vegetation inside of the vale is a lot more perhaps summery than it should be.
That's right. Yeah, because we're tail end of winter here, and there were like leaves and stuff on the trees when we got into the
once within the walls.
It was like we'd stepped into spring essentially.
Yeah.
So that was magical and weird. But also, yes, within this outer wall that surrounds the tower, there was one of these statues, but I guess even bigger, more impressive, and recognizable in our case. It looked like a statue of Eox, who was the sort of, what was he, a kind of bull-headed god
like
that we
bullish
saved.
Forest god.
That we saved in the sort of the last adventure from a cult leader back then who was called Ambriagos, and weirdly, Ambriagos is the name that's carved in Symbaroum on the plinth for this statue.
Absolutely. Which both seem like both wonderful, astonishing, and terrible coincidences to stumble across.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
It is, and it'd be fine, probably.
Yeah.
So that's where we left you, standing somewhat dumbfounded, looking at this statue of Eox within the walls of this sort of tower compound. You can see a number of other much lower stone buildings off to both your left and right through the vegetation, and even the trees that are rearing up here are still quite skeletal. And yeah, that's where we'll pick up, I think, with a bleeding Steo being held between you.
What's my current state? Let me check. Apparently, I have 6 health remaining, so I'm actually not too bad.
That's fine. When do you ever take 6 health in Symbaroum?
Yeah. Nothing bad happens in Davakar.
So I think in not so much being carried, but kind of crutching myself along with the spear that has no backstory into the compound.
It's still relatively early in the day, is that right?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Well, this is... Do you know, the thing I hate the most about this forest, my friends, is when I go out and about in Ambria or Alberator back in the day, and I found a statue of a friend who I knew who owed me a favor, I'd be happy. But not in this cursed place. In this cursed place, I see a statue of a friend who owes me a favor, and I'm bloody terrified.
What? I don't think it's the... I think the statue of Eox is a good sign. It's the name that's the bad sign.
Yeah.
So, could there have been a Symbaric god that looked like Eox but was called Ambriagos?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice and simple? No, there's some prophecy here or some other thaumaturgical mucking around tool for this.
Maybe the Ambriagos that we know was named after.
Ganderald goes, oh, well, I suppose you don't know. Alabra Ambriagos was not his real name.
Right.
Oh, that's actually a weight off my shoulders.
We don't know where the name was from. and I think perhaps Night Pitch knows who he really was, but, well, that's all I heard anyway.
Okay, so Alaba Abriagas is a false name. We don't know his real. I don't really care.
To my understanding, my master passed me some details from some consultation he was in with the mayor's office, but he didn't tell me much about it.
Does the name Ambriagos mean anything to you, Gandalf?
No, although it is Symbaric in structure.
Where did the name Ambria come from? Did the Queen just come up with it?
That is answered in the books, but I can't. I can't remember.
But it's
yes,
not.
It's named after. I believe it's named after someone. Like, well, I can't remember exactly what. But yes, it was named by House Corinthia.
So this is departing the land of the supernatural and entering the land of the political. I hate both those countries, but we should probably take a look.
Yeah, you can't read anything other than the name, Gandalf. It's just Ambriagos.
That's all it says. But if it is a name, I assume that someone called Ambriagos owned that tower.
Yeah, or Eox is also known by a different name.
Possible.
But I'm sure we will learn more inside.
Oh, there we go. John's looked it up. Ambria means the shining in the language of Alberator. And that is what the Queen Corinthia declared that Ambria would be called. Shining new land. Shining from sea to sea.
Shining with not actually dying under our feet.
Yeah, there's no sea. I don't know why I made that comparison.
Can you go first there, Lindra?
Of course. If you need to stop and rest, Steo, you say so.
I stop and rest when we get to Carvosti. I'll be fine. I've marched through worse.
Okay, so as I say, you've got a kind of long promenade ahead of you, which is partly overgrown, though a little bit clearer than to either side of it. You're still flanked by statues, smaller ones on either side, that seem to be of people long ago and, partly decrepit and fallen apart. Ahead of you, you have the tall statue of Eox. Beyond that, the much, much taller tower. And somewhere off in the undergrowth to both your left and your right are kind of lower stone buildings of some kind that seem partially overgrown.
Maybe we should hack some of this jungle open and try and learn a bit about the outbuildings first. Might give us some context to help with the tower.
Okay. I will start swinging swords at the undergrowth. Sure.
You don't need to hack through it too much to make progress. And in point of fact, since you're the one there doing that, Lindra, why don't you roll me some cunning?
Sure. Cunning is 10. I roll a 19. Oh, it's going to be one of those nights.
Yeah, no. Are you making your way to the north or the south? The tower is to the east, for context.
So the tower is east, so we've come in through, I guess, what would be like the west gate. Let's go north.
Okay. So as I say, you can hack your way through there and kind of keep going fairly easily. Is anyone kind of helping Alindra with that, or are we just kind of proceeding behind?
Yeah, I'll give a hand.
Okay. Well, then Askarai and Arendar, you get a cunning roll as well if you want.
Okay. I made it.
There we go. Both of you notice that one of the reasons that this isn't too difficult to do is because part of the undergrowth has actually been cleared recently, including some smaller trees that are fairly level, unweathered stumps over to one side, i.e. someone has chopped them down, and recently.
Do they look like the great big trees that we've been seeing?
No, they look like one day they might have been those great big trees, but not for several decades at least.
Okay.
F in chat for the trees.
Well, it seems like somebody's been here, but maybe it's your elves, Gandalf. Although I don't think they'd be chopping down trees here somehow.
Or
No,
maybe it's
Be out of character.
what was his name? The fellow who sold you the information?
Oh, yes. His name was Ranfalt.
Could he be out here?
Not now, I think. No. He spends his time mostly drunk. I don't think he's out here now, but would this have been... I suppose these look to have been chopped down months, years? I don't know, but he was here at some point. Perhaps he did this?
I guess all things considered, we're not that far from Thistlehold still. It stands to reason that some curious folks will have trampled over this bit of forest at some point.
Maybe.
Yeah. Still, we should be... I mean, we'd be careful anyway. But maybe a little bit more careful.
And as you say this and carry on forwards, you do get the sense like there's quite a bit more of this tower compound to explore. Perhaps beyond this building, there's definitely room for more structures or more things beyond it and between it and the walls. But ahead of you is, it's nowhere near as big as the tower, but it is still a quite large building. It looks to be like maybe two stories tall, but it has large now kind of shuttered with old sort of bronze tiered shutters, like very tall windows leading all the way up the structure. So you imagine on the inside, it seems like if this was an Ambrian building, it would all be one room, right? It looks like a big warehouse or barn or something like that, but it is made of stone and these bronze shutters. There are two very large bronze-plated wooden doors kind of flush ahead of you. Close to, there is a bar. They are barred on the outside.
Okay. Is this to keep something in? Or is this just to keep...
Maybe.
I guess we've made our way here.
Yeah, we've got to have a look.
I will try to lift the bar off.
Okay. Is anyone helping Alindra lift the bar off?
No, I'm going to stand back and have my bow out.
I will help, as damaged as I am.
I will refuse Theo's help.
I will help, and also probably try and take whatever Steo's load is without being too obvious.
Yeah.
Don't you react to that.
That's fine. Okay, Alindra and Aaron, why don't you both give me a vigilant roll, please?
Vigilant.
Mm-hmm.
That's another 19, so that's a fail.
That's a no.
Okay, then. The bar is not too difficult to heft off between the two of you. You lift it. What are you doing with this bar once you've got it, out of curiosity?
I was going to sort of move it to one side and sort of set it against the wall or something.
Okay, so not like chucking it down or anything. Yeah, you can lean that against the wall, and the doors are, only slightly ajar now and unopenable.
I presume they swing outwards. So
They do swing outwards, yes.
Find something to hold onto and pull one of the doors.
Okay, can you give me a discreet roll, please?
Okay, I mean, I was expecting strength rolls and stuff. This has gone weird. So I need a 9. And it's a 15. Wow, the D20 hates me tonight.
So you open the doors to this large stone structure, and light kind of falls inside. A distinct smell of extreme decay and rot washes over you. Could you give me a cunning roll, please? You and Aaron Darks, you're the first people to see inside.
Absolutely fail you a cunning roll, yes.
Please,
I passed that one.
Okay.
I fail.
Okay. Well, Alindra, back at Templar training, one of the things you were taught with your, as part of your teachings about warfare and combat and being battle ready, was the ability to do very quick head counts of large numbers of individuals. So with that in mind, you would estimate that there are approximately 200 rotting, shuffling, undead humans inside this stone structure. As you register with this, one of them turns around, one of them who seems to be dressed in kind of the clothes of perhaps an Ambrian forester or explorer or treasure hunter, kind of wheels round and lets out a low, threatening moan.
I am going to slam that door shut as quickly as I possibly can.
Yep. Sure. Arendar, you don't know the number of them, but I suppose that there's a lot of them.
Did I register that they were corpses?
Oh Christ, yes. They're undead monstrosities.
I'm gonna scurry for the bolts.
As amusing as it would be for Arendar to be like, hello!
This is not Into the Odd.
No. I'm gonna jump for the bolt.
Cool.
And try and drag it back into place.
I've got my weight against the door, waiting for you to do just that to sort of guide it into place.
Well, why don't you both give me a quick roll first?
Sure. Oh my god.
Oh, come on. It's not a 20. It's fine. It's just a fail.
I got another 19 and I'd like to spend an XP on that one, please.
You can do if you want. Yeah.
Right, that's better. That's a 2.
Okay. In that case, you slam the door shut before the first of the shambling individuals lurches towards the door frame. Arendar is kind of fumbling with the bar, so you're definitely going to have to hold that door shut as you can feel multiple bodies start to kind of like slam against it and press their weight on it with like the noise from inside has just risen this terrible choral braying moaning noise.
I really think I should help in this situation.
Proper gives you the rustles your jimmies.
Yeah, if Steo wants to help with the bar, I'm not going to stop him.
Sure, absolutely. But I'd say it's going to take a moment for Steo to get to it. So first, Alindra, can you give me I'd say a strong roll at -2, please?
Okay, strong's 15, so I need a 13 or less. That is a 13.
There we go. You are holding against the battering of the bodies of these poor, unfortunate, undead men and women. Arendar, because you failed your quick roll, I'm going to say it's going to take a bit moment longer for Alindra and Steo to try and hold off this before you can put the bar in place, or at least attempt to. Alindra and Steo, as you're... what are you doing while this is happening, Ascarai, incidentally? You're on mute, by the way.
I think I probably would have run forward to try and help. Maybe with the bar. I think probably with the bar.
Sure. Yeah.
But it seems hard to heft up.
Absolutely. Well, first off, let's have a strong roll from Alindra and Steo, please, and -5. I think now there's enough bodies there that they are pressing hard on that door.
All right, another fail, and I might want to spend another XP on it.
As well, Steo also failed.
Are we reroll buddies, Chris?
I will say only one of you needs to succeed to prevent some of them.
I will spend an XP and I will have a reroll because that's ridiculous. Right, I need a 10 I get an 8. Okay, that's more like it.
Okay. There we go. I'm going to interpret that as like more of them slam into that door, and Steo kind of like sprawls away from it, kind of clutching at his side where his wound is reopened. And Alindra, you do that thing like where you sort of fly away from it and then bang and slam yourself sort of back into it momentarily. Arindar and Askarai, can you give me a accurate roll, please? At a, I'm going to say right now, a -3 to try and get this bar in place.
Pass.
Thank God, because my accurate's terrible. Well, I definitely failed.
That is absolutely fine. Askarai, you don't really do anything to help all that much, other than provide moral support. But Arindar, you managed to kind of heft the bar over the top of Alindra as she's bracing against the kind of sliding dirt underneath her feet. And you get the bar in place. Almost as soon as you do, there's a big kind of, it's not like a magical or a mechanical clunking noise. It's just a noise it makes when the bar slams into place. And almost immediately as you hear that, the moaning and braying noises sort of die down a bit. And within 60 seconds or so, have mostly just reduced to like just a slight shuffling as some of them move around a bit in place inside.
Okay.
Well,
That did indeed give us some context as to what we might find in the tower.
It doesn't bode well for what kind of magic is in this veil.
What were they? I didn't see.
They were the Walking Dead.
Okay.
About 200 of them.
Okay. Ganderald, do you have fire magic?
If we recall, he doesn't have any magic. He's looking kind of quite wide-eyed at the entrance and says, "Oh, a lot of them were wearing Ambrian clothes."
yeah, I wondered whether some of them could have left the signs of life we've seen so far.
Possibly they cut these trees down before they got into this state.
Which would mean something is killing travelers and reanimating them, and then locking them all up into some kind of strange army of undead.
I was not careful enough before I opened this door. And I'm sorry.
It's good. We know what's there now, and we have to burn it.
I mean, good luck burning stone.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing that would burn, right, except maybe the doors, and that doesn't seem like a great
that doesn't help your problem now.
Death from above. Askarai, what can you figure out? What the roof situation is by deftness or by visuals from here?
I don't know. I mean, it seems to be a stone building. I imagine it has a stone roof.
It does indeed have a stone roof. The roof is sort of a low arch in terms of shape. You can't see much of it from down here, but I mean, you could possibly climb up one of those tall trees and try and navigate your way over to it. It's possible.
I think maybe the first thing we should do is find the source of this. What's causing this? Then we can, if we need to, we can destroy them. But
counterpoint: what if they have been left there and animated there in order to generate some profane ritual to make whatever's in that tower even more formidable than it is already? None of you spend any time apprenticing to an architect? Know any good ways to take down a roof?
I mean, it looks quite hefty. I don't think we have any explosives.
I'm not going. It is against every fiber of my being to allow the same plague that scarred Albarator to take this place, even if it is already a cursed place.
I understand that, Steo, but what should we do?
Well, if we think whatever is causing this might be in the tower, then we could investigate the tower. And if nothing else presents itself, well, maybe we would just need to report it to the church.
We are not equipped to deal with this now. If we look around, perhaps we'll find something that helps. Even if we could burn this building down, I don't think we should be setting fire to things in the middle of a forest until we're ready to leave.
Okay. I'd vote it.
I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm saying that if we're going to find a way to do it, it's not now. It might be when we go.
That is a very good point. There has not been much rainfall or snow recently, and well, those trees do look a little bit like they would go up like kindling.
And we're essentially inside a giant, heavily forested hole in the ground. We're not leaving here quickly.
Yeah, I think our best option has to be to carry on and see what we find, but it does feel bad to leave this here.
Come on, let's go before I change my own mind back.
So, what are we doing? There's still a tower to the west. There is a lot of space between the northern wall and this building that you've encountered, and obviously you have not been to the south of the path yet.
Does it look so? If we've come in from the west and we've headed north, so we're sort of going clockwise.
Sort of, yeah.
That's the direction we've headed in.
This building is about halfway down the path, but yeah.
So, do there appear to be any buildings further round that way, or where would I go to the nearest substantial structure that's not the tower? Further or back to the south?
You can't really see if there is anything further north, partly because this building is in the way.
Okay.
And partly because there's a lot of vegetation in the way. But there is certainly a large gap between this building and the wall, or where you assume the wall to be from where you saw the spread of it from the outside. So there might be more room for things there. But you did definitely see some actual structures to the south of the path.
Cool. I am going to start walking south and assume that other people are going to follow.
Can I just take a look at this building just to see if there's anything written on it on the outside of it?
You absolutely can, and there absolutely isn't.
Okay. In that case, I will follow.
The other sides look identical to this one, just stone with those big bronze shutters and no other doors.
Okay.
It's good thinking, though. If we can't find fire, perhaps we can find paint.
To at least leave a warning. Ganderald says, well, I have some dyes in my packs. Although they are, well, with the donkeys.
Mm. Oh well.
Stone building, we can chisel a warning if we need to.
Okay. But is that a job for now or a job for later?
We might not survive. It's a job for now.
Okay.
I'll get to work on it. If I can find if I can use maybe one of my daggers, which I don't really ever use, and just kind of ruin the dagger by chiseling a warning.
I mean, ruin the dagger, yes. Whether you'll actually even achieve chiseling into quite hefty volcanic stone with not volcanic stone, sorry. Another type of stone. It's a type of stone analogous to heavy concrete. So it's difficult to chisel something into there. I'm trying to figure out what's your best role for doing that. Sorry, John. Yeah.
Can I have a look around for, like, maybe if there are any soft stones around, like any limestone that we can use to chalk on the side?
Or you could chalk on the side. That's not a bad idea. Well, you know what? I think Steo is going to have to sort of prepare a bit to start this up. So, Arendar, why don't you just roll vigilant for me to see if you can find something along those lines?
I'm going to vocalize what I'm doing before I do it, and actually pass.
Okay. Yeah, you find a small chunk of something kind of equivalent to limestone, if not limestone, on the ground, and yeah, it leaves a satisfying chalk-like marks on the sort of light grey sides of this large building. So you can write whatever you want on there.
If you're looking for inspiration, we used to just write undead.
I will write that.
Okay. This building has undead written on the side of it.
Yeah, I know we found in Solindra's Hope information that there were Dark Lords in Ambria. Do you think one of them could be here? Seems like a reasonable place to hide.
Maybe, but I can't imagine they'd be staying still. And I also... Look, there's a difference from being a 2-bit sorcerer who studied necromancy to being a Dark Lord. Dark Lords, their magic steals the very life out of the soil. This is dangerous, worrying, but not quite terrifying yet.
If anything, the soil in this place seems to be harboring more life than the soil outside.
It's still a powerful magic. And there's, you say 200 undead in there. That doesn't seem like a 2-bit sorcerer to me.
I don't know. They're slow moving. They're not. I don't know. Look, I want to do nothing more than to burn that place to the ground and ensure the safety of this land. But we don't have the tools or the expertise to do that. So we are left with the requirement to learn the story of this tower and see if it comes with a handy self-destruct button.
Yep.
Or we can call a favor in from Eox.
Regardless of who or what might be dwelling here, I think we've established that this place is dangerous and we should be extremely careful. Yeah. I'm going to just sort of turn on my heel and start marching south.
Yeah.
I will follow her.
Matt's on mute.
Sorry. You reach the path again with no incidents. And as I say, you can see that there are a couple of structures further to the south of the path. As you get a bit closer through the dense undergrowth, you can see that they are 2 buildings linked by a low stone passageway. They are both stone buildings themselves, but a lot more kind of, I guess, looking like actual buildings with rooms than the other place. They have had windows at some point in the past, but they have been boarded up. The boards look relatively new.
Okay, like since
months or years. Yeah,
okay.
Months or years, not decades or centuries.
Okay.
We need to check this one thoroughly before cracking it open.
Yeah.
Both of the buildings have kind of multiple doors, and they're more like normal but old wooden doors.
Are they kind of locked from the? Are they boarded up from the outside?
No. They just look like normal doors.
Okay.
I'm going to circle the buildings
Mm-hmm.
and look at the doors and the boarded up window sections and see if there is anything where there is a gap or like a knot in the wood or somewhere I can look inside.
Sure. Give me a vigilant roll, please.
Need a 10. I get a 19.
19's love you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Is anyone else carrying this kind of behavior out as well? Seems
I
like
think
the kind
I'd
of thing
take-
that Sakurai might do.
Yeah, I think I'd take a look around the building. Look
Sure.
for writing, especially, but also other entrances and exits.
Sure. Give me a vigilant roll, please.
Okay. Need a 15. I rolled an 18. Nope.
Nope, you can't, essentially, neither of you can kind of find any sort of clues to what might be within or kind of indications of any kind other than the description I've given you.
Okay.
Right.
I was going to basically pick a door and try and listen through it.
Are you choosing the west building or the east building?
The west building.
Okay, give me a vigilant roll.
No.
You don't hear
Quite
anything.
a lot. Okay.
That doesn't mean that something is in there. It's just you have no idea whether there is or not.
Yep.
Come on, Aaron, out of the way. We're going to have to go in eventually.
So this is the west
I
building,
will.
right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And I will. I was going to say knock, but this is not into the odd. I will, with spear ready, just open the door.
Absolutely. You open the door with a slow creak. No sounds immediately accost you. It is quite dark inside. And inside there is a smell, a little bit of a smell of that decay and rot. But more than that, there is a smell of overly ripe raw meat and blood.
Oh, I think it's an Earthphone's basement, lads.
Oh. Also, not a lad.
Oh, sorry, Alindra. Could you get some light in there? Could you pull some of the awning off one of the windows there?
Ganderald has brought a lantern with him, and he sort of lights it up and just stands behind you and holds it aloft. Inside, you see a relatively large room. There are carcasses hung from the ceiling, and at first you think, as you say, it is like it gives you echoes of the discovery Earthon's made in that basement in Thistlehold. But then, as your eyes adjust, you can see it's actually more like a provision storage room. There are numerous carcasses hung from the roof. Some of them are forest creatures. Some of them are not. Some of them are goblins. Some of them are humans. And in the center of the room is a kind of a large table on which has been placed the corpse of an A-boar, which is kind of a large, monstrous boar that inhabits Davakar. The skeleton of that creature is mostly on display, and the kind of bones are being held together by just hunks of sinew and flesh that remain, all of which noticeably has teeth marks in. The only part that hasn't been touched is the skull and the kind of flesh and face of the creature, which is just kind of staring dead and just kind of staring at one wall slackly with its tongue poking out of its mouth.
So, like, wild beast lair vibes, butcher shop vibes, hunting
Yeah.
lodge?
Bit of both. I mean, those carcasses are hung up on hooks. So,
Okay. But also are full of
This-
teeth marks.
yes, this has been used to feed some things.
Yeah, got you. Somebody brought them here for something else to eat. Okay.
I still smell blood. This place has been used recently.
I don't like it.
It has. One of the goblin bodies is kind of dripping.
Steo, do the undead eat?
Do you want me to make this up? Okay.
But you have encountered
Like I have
many
done.
kinds of undead in the years of the wars. Some of them are mute, stumbling Draugr who kind of, just exist in this kind of twilight state between life and death. Some of them are more like ravening, hordes of undead that gnaw at the living. So could be, yeah.
Yeah, the fast and the dangerous ones they'll eat.
There is something very dangerous here.
Yep. Let's check the other building.
Do you check it via going through that internal passageway, or do you leave and go out to the other side? There are other rooms in this building, but this seems to be the main room. This does seem to be like the main room.
I think we'll do a proper sweep of the building before we leave then.
You do a proper search, and I won't go into the details because there's maybe 3 or 4 of the rooms in this. Most of the doors to them are closed but unlocked, and they're all just empty, or all they contain is kind of like the that good old chestnut of kind of desiccated and ruined old furniture and various things like that. They don't seem to have been inhabited for hundreds or thousands of years. Are we going across the passageway to the other side?
Yeah.
If this is a pantry to feed something that's in the other building, then it stands to reason that there will be something separating us from there. Whereas if we just walk in the other door,
there are no doors. It's just a stone passageway. There is no barrier or hefty door of any kind.
Sure.
Okay.
Come on, let's get it over with.
Okay. You walk into the other building. It seems to have an identical layout to the west building, but in this case, the large room is occupied by piles and piles of equipment and packs and supplies, much of which is decaying or rotting, but some of which looks relatively new.
Does it look Ambrian?
Most of it does, yeah. Some of it looks like goblins.
Gander, I'll maybe ask Gray, do you want to check, see if you can find any licenses, anything with dates on it, names?
Yeah.
Avatar passports, stuff that might help us find out who these people were.
I'll look for a pack that looks...
And starts rifling.
I'll look for a pack that looks like the newest one that I can see easily and have a look through it, especially for a license.
Absolutely. Why don't you give me a vigilant roll, please, Ascarai? And yeah, tell me if it passes, and almost also tell me if it passes against -5.
It passes, but not against -5. I rolled a 15. Okay. I need a 15.
You find a relatively new pack. It does have an forestry explorer's license in it. It is dated 3 years ago. It is signed by all the people you might expect. It has Night Pictures seal on it. And also, you find it in a small shoulder bag that also contains, roll a d6, please.
Okay. Rolled a 5.
5 herbal cures and 2 small bottles containing a kind of greenish, yellowish liquid that you don't immediately recognize. But they look quite, they were packed tightly alongside the herbal cures.
Okay. I'll probably hand all of it to Steo. So, maybe I'll hand one of the green things to Ganderold. Do you know what this is?
Kind of unstop, is it? That is elixir of life. A healing solution. He passes it back.
Well, nice. I don't think I should be holding those two then. You keep hold of the elixirs, Ascarai. I'll keep hold of the 3-year-old herbal cures. I'll give one a sniff. We'll do it a pinch.
Smells fine. Part of the thing of them is that they're partially preserved with various unguents. So
What a great word. Thank you.
Quite all right.
Are you sure you don't want one of the elixirs, Steo?
Not right now.
Well, they seem relatively well prepared, and it didn't seem to help them. Something is just killing travelers here.
I have a
Reanimating
theory.
them.
Maybe the person who brought them here had an ill intent for them from the outset. I have a feeling people have been. Look how many packs there are. This is not just one party. This is years of parties. I have a feeling people are being fed to this place.
I wonder how many times Ranfalt has sold this information, or people like him.
I mean, I am starting to wonder that myself, but also some of these licenses predate Ranfalt's leaving Thistlehold. I do not think this is entirely his doing, if it is his doing at all. But clearly,
I'm not putting all of this on Ranfalt, but I'm just saying, like, we were led here.
yes.
As we said earlier, it's not far from Carvosti. It's not that far from the most traveled route in all of Davokar.
So
Over
many
the
people
years.
could have stumbled across it and
Precisely.
thought it a treasure trove.
Wouldn't that just be an uncharacteristically good break of luck for this group?
Do I recall you saying Ranfalt had a master that he also left with?
He did. Her fate was never determined.
And was she also a person of dubious repute?
Ranfalt was not a person of dubious repute.
Huh.
Neither was she. They were Ordo members in good standing. Since Ranfalt's return, he has chosen not to re-enter the tower and has taken to drink and illicit behaviors of various kinds.
Regardless of the route by which the information came to this party, it seems quite clear that we're the latest of several. It's my strong inclination to leave now while we still can.
I think you have a good point. At least 200 people have tried to deal with whatever is here. Do we really think we are better than all of those?
Only if they were aware of what was happening.
I believe there is a whole warehouse full of the undead, and one of the only options I have to destroy them is to find the secrets of this place and pray that one of them is explosive.
So we're going to stay here until we can find something that can destroy the place.
No, we're going to do our level best to find something that can destroy this place, and then we're going to alert the authorities. Not that they'll do anything, because the church seems to have both its hands tied behind its back these days, and no one else has the money or the care to come this far away from Thistlehold. But that is the duty, and if I die doing it, then that is the duty.
I really wish Anton were here right now.
Just tie a rope around him, lower him in, and just let him do Prios' work, like some kind of reverse fishing.
I do wonder if his holy aura could affect them from the door. Just Anton just stands there while we all burn inside.
I do like to think that in the cinematic version of this conversation, we go, we really wish Anton were here, and then we like smash cut to Anton having some sort of wacky adventure down south, being pursued by goblins or something.
No,
just
he's
in
just
a tavern
sat,
with like his feet up and some cider. Like, all right.
Exactly. Okay.
Right. So we can look for more outbuildings, or we can go to the tower. I think
again there seems kind of more room between the south wall and here, but you can't see any. You know what? Actually, on your circle round, there is a larger building that seems to be kind of to the southeast, towards the corner of the walls, but could be any number of other things, I suppose.
I'd say let's make sure we've explored all options in the courtyard before we go in. We've learned so much already. We're already better prepared.
Fine. Then I will continue anti-clockwise to the building to the southeast.
Building to the southeast. You go, you make your way through the underbrush over there. You're probably like mid-afternoon now, around that time, which means, there's still a couple of hours of daylight, but it is sort of the end of winter. As you approach it, it does look to be like a smaller version of the rather unpleasant large building to the north that held all the undead. Although you do note that the doors are open and long broken off their hinges. And as you approach closer, you can see that inside are some very, very, very old crates, and boxes and racks of various kinds, most of which have long desiccated and given over to rot and falling apart. It looks like a very old warehouse that's now full of nothing but ruin.
That's 2 warehouses and 1 big statue. It doesn't seem strange layout for a temple. What do you think, Ganderald?
Well, I'm not sure it is a temple.
Yeah, a big statue of a god outside a normal... It's not a house.
Symbaric families often had a patron god.
So a seed of a house, of a family?
Perhaps. I mean, if Alaba Ambriagos took his name from this place or these people somehow, then Ambriagos would be their family name.
That would separate the tether binding Eox to the family. That makes a lot of sense.
Perhaps he found the name and he found the statue and found out about Eox, and it seems a bitter irony to try and consume the being that the family he named himself after venerated, but
what you're saying is this could have been a trading post or part of a farm or something more utilitarian.
It could have been,
I think
or
it's just
a home.
A family compound. Sometimes larger noble families, when they have several members within, it sort of becomes like a mini town, especially if the family is known for a particular good.
Nothing good comes out of the forest.
Were something of a...
Any of these things are possible.
Okay.
I know we have very poor luck with these old Symbaric crates, but it would be remiss of us not to do a quick once over.
Yeah. I'll do a sweep of the warehouse to see if there's anything obviously unsafe in there, and then I will kind of let Ganderod go at it.
Absolutely. Do you want to give us a vigilant roll?
I mean, not really, but I did volunteer. So. Vigilant 10. I rolled a 14. So yeah, everything's fine.
Ganderald goes in and has a poke around, and nothing evil jumps out at him to eat him. It is, as I said, it's a large warehouse full of decayed and forgotten nothing.
I would like to move quickly towards the main tower. I think we don't know exactly what is here, but there's some powerful magic, and we don't know what it's doing to us just being here, just being inside this area.
It's a good point. At some point, we have to figure out what we're going to do when night falls, because getting out of this hole is not going to be easy.
So we're probably staying here overnight. I'm not climbing that cliff in my state.
You can appreciate that that's not a great option either, though. I'm agreeing with Ascarai that whatever we do, we should try to do it as quickly as we can. It would be
let's do the tower today. I'm just saying, don't assume we're going to find an inn for the evening. We're probably going to be at the bottom of this valley.
Okay, perhaps not inside this compound, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Eox does owe us a favor.
Give him a shout.
If we are pushing forward onto unknown dangers, then perhaps and I shoot a look at Steo without being obvious. I'm being obvious about Steo. We should take a moment to take stock of our injuries.
Yeah. Shut up, Mum. Has it been long enough for me to have another solid attempt at a medicus roll?
No, it's the same day.
Yeah. No, nothing. The only thing that's going to cure this is rest or divine intervention, and our divine intervention is off on a walk.
Or perhaps some elixir of life, Steo.
It's not without its risk. It does cause some corruptive swellings, but it's valuable stuff.
I just don't see this as an emergency. I've literally fought with you people unless feeling with bits hanging out of me. This is just bruised ribs and broken pride.
At what point does it become an emergency, Steo?
When it happens to someone else. Come on, let's go.
It's just Chris trying to kill his character. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Right. I don't think we can make him see sense.
Tell you what, Alindra, you can go in first.
Thank you, Steo.
So you make your way back to the path as the afternoon starts to slowly give way to just slightly dimmer light. And you find yourself at the twin doors of the main tower, which stand wide open, just like the gates to the interior of this compound. Within, the main thing that's immediately of note is that this great entry hall is totally bare and clean, and the walls are free from the greenery that stretches everywhere outside. You can see that there are, now that you're kind of up to these doors, you've had to go up a set of kind of stone steps to get to them, that there are 4 individuals standing, seemingly awaiting your arrival, further back in the hall at the foot of a huge sweeping set of stone stairs that stretch around to either side. They are dressed as Ambrians. They do not seem to be dead. 2 of them, in fact, are clad in the armor and tabard of Sun Knights, although their tabards are ragged and the armor is rusty and unpolished. The other 2 look like perhaps they are squires. They are carrying swords and shields, and are kind of a younger boy and girl, maybe 18 or so, and they are stood behind them. They are facing the doors and where you are.
So there's no chance whatsoever that they haven't spotted us.
0.
Okay.
The way you had to approach the doors up these stairs, there's no way they didn't see you.
Right.
So they're inside the building.
Inside the building.
I will sort of glance around at the others and then step inside.
I'm going to at least take my bow. Like, I'm not going to draw it and aim at them, but I'm going to have it in my hand.
Yeah. Hand on the hilt of the sword.
I will mutter to anyone who'll hear. Anyone wearing a sun tabard in the presence of a whole ass warehouse full of the undead has probably not got our best interests at heart.
I will turn round to Steo and point at the raggedy scrap of my own sun tabard.
The moment you cross the threshold of the door of the tower, one of the Sun Knights takes a single step forward and raises his voice. Hail. My name is Eran Kalfas. Please, lay down your arms.
Does anything jump to memory at the name Kalfas?
I think we have had a Kalfas before, right?
I can't remember, but let me get there.
Someone can do a search of our character list. Calfas sounds familiar, but the fact that I can't immediately remember probably indicates that this isn't a linking thing.
Cool. That's fine by me.
Before we disarm, friend, care to tell us who you are and why you're here?
I am, as you can see, a Templar Knight. I am here as the guest and arm of Na Ethikel Ambriagos. If you are capable and compliant, you can obtain prominent positions in the army of this lord. Should you decline this offer, you will die and be forced to join the army's vanguard.
That's them outside, is it?
On what side?
He doesn't really reply to that.
And Ambriagos owns this place.
This is his home. You are guests here. Lay down your arms.
I'm going to turn to the others.
We're gonna have to kill these people.
We're going to have to kill these people.
Are we going to have to kill these people?
I'm not sure they're actually people.
I'm sick of killing fucking Templars.
We don't want to
I don't
join.
think they're Templars, Lindra.
They may be under some form of enchantment.
Can you help them?
Possible if perhaps if they're subdued, or I don't know what the enchantment is. Elindra, Master Furia did tell me. Can you see anything?
I will, without saying anything, activate Witch Sight.
Mm-hmm.
Attempt to. So it's vigilant against discreet of, I guess, these Templars.
Yeah, that's a +5, friend.
Ooh, okay. So I need a 15. I roll a fucking 18.
Great.
Based on our rolls, I'm not liking our odds for any upcoming fights.
No,
tonight.
I sort of don't want to spend another XP, but also I do kind of want this one to work. So, yeah, let's do it. I've such bad luck with Witch Sight. I just like this. This seems like a good time to do it.
Please use a different roller. Oh my god, Stephen, please use a different roller.
Last time I got an 18, I just blew an XP on a 19.
What is it with 19s?
I don't know.
Well, either way, your witch sight is not coming through to you.
I don't see anything. We can try to subdue them.
Yeah, let's try and pull the blows.
I might be able to do something
If we subdue them.
if you subdue them.
Okay. I am going to put my sword down.
Oh, I will put my spear down.
Do they have swords? Do the people?
Yeah, the Sun Knights have long swords, kind of bastard swords drawn, and the squires have swords and shields.
Drawn? I didn't realize they had swords drawn.
No, I didn't say that, but they do have swords drawn.
Right. I'm not going to put my sword down. I'm not going to just disarm myself in front of people that are pointing swords at me.
No, that's fair enough.
I don't think we can subdue 4 people between us. I think.
Look, minimize casualties.
Yeah.
Right. I am going to run towards the one that was talking to us, and
Sure.
I'm going to try to headbutt him
Oof.
as hard as possible.
Okay.
Askrai, pick your least favorite looking squire and send them to their maker.
I mean, mechanically, that's just going to be like an unarmed hit, which won't do very much.
Well, I don't like. I mean, mechanically, I don't know how to like. It's that or you.
I think
Mechanically, you just try and not kill them.
Yeah, I think the approach we've used before is just we bring them close to death and then we use some healing on them to stop them from dying.
Okay, this is not Elindra's strong point. Okay, Elindra will charge at the guy with a sword.
Absolutely. You charge forward. As you do so, can everyone else give me a vigilant roll, please?
Oh god, something really bad's gonna happen.
Oh no.
Nope.
Oh dear. So you do not notice the strange distortions on the stone floor, hiding a pitfall trap. Elindra, could you pass a quick test, please?
It's unlikely, but sure.
Oh no.
I need a 13. It's unmodified. I get a 6. Yes, I can.
There we go. You notice it at the very last moment and just manage to sort of long jump over the thing and kind of pitch forwards successfully, which is good because it's 5 meters deep as it falls away, and you would have definitely been trapped down there and able to help your friends. So with that in mind, we're going to need some initiative, please, because they are going to respond by fighting you, obviously. So, John, obviously the characters. The Templars are on Quick 13 and is Vigilant the second stat? Yeah, Quick 13 and Vigilant 7. And the Squires, are on the same, bizarrely. Yeah. But put the Templars before the Squires, because, Mr. Manager. Been a while
We just
since
say
Arrested
manager.
Development. Very well done. Been a while since an Arrested Development reference on the stream. That's what I like to see.
That will just be a moment, but Askrai goes first, as you might be able to.
As always.
If he wants to.
If he wants to. Do you want to, Askarai?
Yes, I do want to.
You do want to. Who's getting an arrow then?
I'm gonna say Steo told me to pick a squire, so I'm gonna listen to Steo. He's our most battle-tested member.
Sure.
I'm gonna shoot one of the squires.
Are you doing your armor penetration or your double shot?
I have the hunter's instinct. I can only do one of these 3 things. That's right. Okay. I'll do armor penetration, I think.
Okay. The squires are wearing chainmail. It doesn't look hugely hefty, but it is still, it's still armor.
I'll go for armor penetration.
Okay. Well then, their defense is -1. So
okay.
Yeah.
I will need a 14. I rolled a 7, so I make it.
Absolutely. Give me a damage roll, please.
That's a D10 plus 1, ignoring armor. I rolled a 10 plus 1 is 11, ignoring armor.
And ignoring armor, well, that definitely goes past the old pain threshold. Would you like another shot, or would you like to knock them prone?
We're going for not killing, but it's so early in the fight that I feel like knocking them prone, they'll be back up again by the time any fighting begins. I'll go for another shot. I'm not too bought into the not killing these guys, really.
Sure. Then make another attack, please. Did we determine if your follow-up attacks can use like active actions or anything.
I think we've said that they can't.
I think we've said that they can't as well. Yep.
So not armor piercing. I rolled a 4 though, so it does hit.
And the damage?
The damage is a 4, but not ignoring armor.
Okay. Your arrow strikes the young boy flush kind of in the collarbone and leaves him reeling back with a sharp cry. Your second arrow, maybe because of the angle he's at after he reels back, sort of just embeds itself in his chainmail and doesn't seem to penetrate any further. But he's quite badly wounded by your arrow. Are you taking any movement action of any kind? It's going to take, now that the pit trap has opened up, it's going to take 2 moves for everyone to get to them, apart from Elindra.
I think that suits me fine. I don't want to be closer to them, really, so I might make like half a movement forward, something like that.
Sure, yeah. So you're like on the edge of the pit trap sort of thing. Yeah, sounds good. Elindra, I'd say you can probably charge an attack.
Okay, so it's a move to get into engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, I'm still barreling towards the guy that was talking.
Mm-hmm.
And then two-handed finesse means that I get a free attack on engaging.
Nice. Well, their defense is -3.
Defense is -3, and I'm rolling strong, right? So 15, 12. I get a 4. That's a hit. Then it's a D12 damage, which is a 6.
Okay.
And then I get my actual normal
and then
attack.
you get your actual attack. Well, I can tell you that your first attack, your swing, sort of glances slightly off the plate that he is wearing, but you do, as he reels back from your blow, you do kind of score a quick cut over the bridge of his nose, which probably hurts, but not much more than that.
The next hit is also successful, but does 5 damage.
Okay. This time he manages to maneuver himself into a position where your sword clangs meaninglessly against the full plate he is wearing.
Okay.
The Templars next. So we will have one of the Templars starts running around the edge of the pit trap towards the 3 of you who have not yet crossed that, while the other one is going to strike back at Elindra. He, as he does so, he says in a voice that seems to be sort of straining against some kind of force compelling him. He says, "My apologies, but you do have to die." And swings for you. Can I have a defense roll, please, at just a flat one? Just flat defense.
Flat defense is a 13. That's a 7. Yes, I pass. And then the two-handed finesse means that after a successful defense, I can pass a strong test with him to push him out of melee combat range.
Sure.
Which I'd like to be towards the pit, but I think the layout might.
Yeah, that's not going to really work right now. Okay. So you're
strong modified by their strong.
That's a -5 then.
Cool. I need a 10. That's a fail. Okay.
No problem. Now it's time for the squires to go. The squire who's been hit by the arrow is similarly going to run round to engage the group at the back. The squire, the girl who hasn't been wounded yet, is going to leap forward and attempt to strike Elindra. That means that Elindra is flanked, I believe. So with that in mind, that's going to be so they get if they have +2 on their attack roll, that means, sorry, I've just lost their stats there. Okay, so that's a defense at -2.
Defense at -2. And that's a pass.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So both the Templar and the Squire's blades, kind of, it's up to you. Do you think you dodge them, or do you think that they have no impact on your Oh no, it's your defense, so you have avoided them, whether it's by parry or dodge.
Yeah, I think it just kind of more, I guess, defter footwork than the squires have. Right?
Yeah, and keeping one part of your mind on where the pit is behind you as you take your steps backwards. Absolutely. Arindar, I would say the Templar is coming around one side, let's say the left-hand side of the pit from you. The Squire is coming around the other, the wounded Squire. And I say they are both chargeable from your position.
I'm going to take the Templar in the hope that Steo goes for the injured and presumably weaker Squire.
Okay. Then you can charge forward at the Templar. Is there anything you have upon engagement?
I don't believe so.
You all seem to have various engagement /miss/thing abilities. Yours is if they hit you, right, and miss. Is that your...
If I defend successfully, yeah.
Yeah, you get a riposte. But either way, that's his defense is -3.
Okay. -3, so 16, target of 13. That is a 3, so that's a hit, but only 3 damage.
Okay. Your dueling blade is not enough to penetrate the plate armor, and you do not manage to find a satisfactory gap in it. So that's a no. Steo.
Alas, I am left with only the wounded Squire to be able to indefinitely suspend from this combat forever. So I suppose I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Sure. You get a free attack upon engagement, right?
Yep, and that is the attack that I am using to proc a polearm mastery in order to keep them at bay forever. So I have to make an attack roll, and if I win, that's them locked out for this turn.
Okay.
So just a flat attack roll, yeah?
I assume so. Yep. Oh, no, their defense is -1.
Okay, well, I still make it at 6. So I don't believe... Do I do damage on this? I don't think so.
I think you did. Like, I think it's a successful attack. That's why I was looking up. Has the skill to keep your enemies at bay. You can use the free attack with the polearm to keep an enemy from coming close enough to attack. For as long as the character succeeds in hitting the enemy remains unable to attack the character with melee weapons, whether or not the damage penetrates the enemy's armor. So, yeah, it does damage.
Oof. I don't suppose we haven't house ruled anything for flat of the blade stuff, have we? I think we discussed this before.
We have discussed it before, and I don't think we have. Here's a house rule for it. Give me another accurate roll.
That's another success.
Okay. In that case, why don't you roll your damage, and you can half it.
Sweet. Oh, that's 5.
Okay. So we'll take the lower of those. So you, as the boy kind of charges you, you take a quick sort of back step, thrust your spear out, and just thwack the boy along the side of the head with a hard clunk. It's quite a hard hit, but he's definitely looking. You can see his eyes starting to kind of glaze over, but he's still staggering towards you with sword and shield drawn. So he's not down and out just yet.
Okay, well, he is out of combat, so remember that as well. So we'll have to
re-engage. Yeah. Ganderald is going to follow whatever orders he's had. And the last orders he's had was to lurk at the back with his weapons drawn, which is exactly what he's going to do with his fighting claw and his. Does he have an axe and a fighting claw? Yeah.
I don't think there's any way he could get round the pit at the minute anyway, so that's probably all for the best.
Oh, he definitely could. There's like loads of space between the walls and the pit. Like, yeah, he could, but he's under orders. So we're back to the beginning of the combat. Askarai.
I'm gonna fire a shot at the Templar fighting Elindra because
Okay.
Elindra is trying to fight 2 people, and that seems
Sure. That seems
dangerous.
fair enough. Are we gonna? Is this the armor penetrating shot?
Yes, for this round, yes. Maybe if I miss, I might do one of my hunter's instinct shot. But for now, I'm gonna do an armor penetrating one.
Cool. Well, that's a defense of -3.
Okay, I need a 12. I rolled a 15, so I don't make it.
Okay. Are you doing anything with your movement action?
No, I think I'm happy where I am.
Okay. Elindra, what are you doing?
So still flanked by the 2 of them, right?
Correct.
I guess I'm just going at the Templar again.
Sure. That is a strike with a -3 then, please.
Okie dokie. Oh my god. My dice rolls are bad tonight. That I fail at the attack.
Okay. Again, your sword swings wide as he dodges. He's definitely no amateur with a blade.
Do I have any opportunity to move from here? Can I try to sort of put him between me and the pit and sort of step
Yeah,
around
sure.
him?
You know what? Why don't we have a competing quick roll?
Sure.
That seems pretty good. See if your footwork can edge him round. That'll be a quick roll from you at -3, please.
Okie dokie. That's another fail.
Yeah, he ain't falling for that.
Okay.
He likes his opponents with their backs to a pit. Don't we all?
I mean, we've probably had very similar training, only he's had more of it
Thatcher
than me.
certainly did. Moving on to Templars. There's a bit of a joke for anyone who grew up in the 70s and 80s in the UK there. So Templars is what we're on. Elindra, let's have you first. Let's have that flat defense roll, please. Oh, no, defense roll at -2, sorry, because of the flank.
-2. Pass that one.
Great, and we might as well do your squire one now as well.
Sure. Is there a modifier? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That's a
-2 again. Yeah.
That's a pass.
Yeah, so again, it's just like a dance of all of you are being very cautious. You know, everyone here is relatively well trained, and you're kind of more scouting each other out than you are driving forward for the kill. Arundar, can you give me a defense roll at -2, please?
That is a success.
Okay, which means you get a free attack, yes?
Yes.
That is an attack at -3.
Target of 13, which is a hit and 11 damage.
Ooh,
Nice.
That's not bad, but not good enough for a pain threshold.
Ooh, that's worrying. Oh, no, that makes sense.
He's wearing full plate armor. It got reduced by
Yeah.
quite a lot. You dodge out of the way of the relatively clumsy blow of the Templar and send a lightning fast jab that kind of slips down the side of the flank of his helm and comes back out with a gush of blood. And there is a wet slap as one of his ears slips out of the base of his helm and falls to the floor. His main reaction to it, other than a hiss of pain, is "Thank you."
Am I fighting Calfas or the other one?
You are fighting the other one.
Okay. What is your name?
Kill me. He's not stopping fighting you as this.
No, yeah, I didn't expect him to.
So that other squire and Steo, that other squire is going to come for you, Steo, which means you get a free attack on engagement. So go for that, please.
Was it -3 or is it flat for these guys?
-1 for the squires. -1.
That is another success. He's not getting
Okay.
anything done this turn. Oh, I can do my damage as well.
Are you trying to pull the blow again?
Yes, please.
Accurate roll, please.
Worth remembering, as he's had his pain threshold tripped, he'll be at a malice as well.
That is true. We do have that, don't we?
I've forgotten what the malice
it
is.
Doesn't
but...
matter because
no, yeah,
we've already done the roll. But
that is a success, but it is the most tenuous success I have had yet.
Sure. Well, roll your damage, please.
That is once again a 5. 9 + 1 is 10. Divided by 2 is 5.
Oh, 5 down. Oh, was the first one you roll? I thought you rolled 5, and I halved that to 2. Okay.
No,
well, the end result now is the same anyway. In the again, the squire comes from you. Again, you thrust with the flat of the blade, and it whacks him solidly on the side of the head. He staggers to the side, the wrong side, and plummets down the 5 meters into the pit with rather a wet crunch when he hits the ground. A quick peer over shows that he is a crumpled form on the floor with a quickly spreading pool of blood around his head.
Oof. Well, bad luck. I still have a full suite of actions left because
You
that
do,
was my
because that
free
was on
action
the
for him
squire's turn.
engaging.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's obviously it's Aaron first, so
yeah.
Yep. Okay, I am going to. I'm going to try and hit the Templar again.
-3.
That is a hit and only 3 damage.
Okay, yeah, your saber once again rattles off the plate. We'll do it at the end. Stia, what's your action?
I'm going to provide some relief to the Alindra there. I'm going to de-flank her by putting myself in taking on the squire, I think.
Sure, absolutely. So that's an engagement.
Yep.
So take your free attack first.
Is once again a success.
Wonderful. Are
Doggedly,
you pulling the blow?
I am pulling the blow, doggedly trying to stick to the plan. That's 3 damage.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. Are you pushing her out of engagement range?
I think that makes the most tactical sense.
Because then she has to keep coming back in. Yeah.
There is an open question as to whether or not that puts her out of engagement range with
I think both of you are now in a separate engagement to me. Okay. You're fighting the Squire, Alindra is fighting the Templar.
Yep.
I think,
so the Squire's now in the naughty Steo box.
Absolutely. And as you come in, you swing the end of your spear round and clock her across the cheek with a solid blow, which leaves her reeling back out of range of your spear. Ganderald is still standing by Askarai. Everyone who has engaged one of these people, i.e. everyone here but Askarai, can you give me a vigilant roll, please, at -3?
Fail.
Steo, you notice this, and you only notice it because you approached this other squire from sort of from the rear. But you notice, and with a quick flick over to the Templar, you can see as he moves around for a swing against Alindra and his helm shifts, both he and the squire, and possibly the squire down there and the other Templar, you don't know, have what looks like an old brand mark on the back of their neck. It's very faded and you kind of can't really make it out all that well. But they seem to have at some point been branded.
Okay.
Askarai.
I'm going to shoot at the same Templar, the Templar fighting Alindra.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it using Hunter's Instinct. I point a target in sight and get a second chance to succeed with all range attacks against it. The target is appointed when the character makes an attack against it, and the effect lasts till the prey dies or the scene ends.
Okay, well, that's the first shot at a -3 then.
Okay. I need a 12.
Can I just ask, how is that different to your 2 shots?
For one, I mean, I think it's not an active; it's a special.
Oh, okay.
So I think I get 2 chances to hit them. I don't get 2 shots against them.
Right.
So like if I hit on the first one, I don't get a second chance. But I also think in future rounds, I can still try to hit them twice. And
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting one. The second chance to hit, but it's a special. Is this in the? It's in the advanced player's guide, right?
No,
I'm
no,
trying-
that's I'm pretty sure that's one of the default ones because
No, Hunter's Instinct is for when you switch your archetype to Hunter, right? Is it not?
yeah, it is. It's when you. It's in the advanced. I'm
Yeah.
very sure.
Hunter's Instincts special. Second chance to succeed with all ranged attacks against it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that works with your other ones, right?
Yeah, it's like you specifically make a choice to activate it, but then it's passive for the rest of the scene from that point
Yeah,
on.
I'm just gonna look up exactly how special works. Looks in a special. Yeah, I don't think it's an action.
Okay.
Because it doesn't say that it's an action. So I think what happens is you appoint a target in sight. Yeah, because it's not active. So I think basically, and it says all ranged attacks against it. So I think basically, you picked him. It says special, and so I'm assuming that doesn't mean this is an action for you. So now you can choose your armor or your double shot, but each miss can be re-rolled.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
I would honestly just do it by every time you have it active, and I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't have him active in every combat. Yeah. Honestly, for every attack, I would just roll 2d20.
Yeah, I guess the only thing would be if I switch target before killing somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, well, in that case, I'll do that and do armor piercing then.
Sure.
So
seems good.
I roll the first try. I rolled a 16, which misses. I need a 12. And the second try, I rolled a 14, so I missed twice regardless.
But at least you had the second chance as 2 arrows go whistling past Alindra and her opponent. Any movement? No. Alindra.
Right. I'm going to hit the bad man with the sword.
I'm
no longer flanked.
You're not.
So is that just a straight attack, or is this?
It's minus. Flanking doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
Rolls.
I missed.
Fair enough. Clearly, the two of you are far too evenly matched. Why don't you just go ahead and straight up and roll your defense immediately for his strike in return?
Just while we're here, sure.
That's a minus. It's a flat.
Yeah,
defense.
past that.
Yeah, the two of you are literally just kind of circling each
clang,
other like
clang.
fucking master samurai.
Yeah.
Or just beating on each other like the medieval tanks you are. The other Templar is going to take a cut at Arindar. That is a... Oh, no, we lost Chris. That is just a flat defense roll, please.
Okay. Ooh, that is a fail.
Okay, then. So why don't you give me an armor roll?
That is 4.
4, you say. Well, that bastard sword comes swinging round for you, and as it does, you see it flare and burn with the power of Prios consecration. How much did you roll again for armor?
4.
Take 5 toughness, please, as the blade cleaves through your upper arm.
Okay,
Not
that
through,
is...
like, you know. It's a draw cut, so they slam it in and then draw back across your, your armor, which is partly you've got a deep gash in your upper arm.
Yeah. That is my pain threshold.
As in, your pain threshold is 4.
Oh no, my pain threshold is
Remember?
5, so it's over. Yep.
It has to be over, not equal to.
Thank God for that rule.
There we go. That's gonna irritate me if I don't fix that. There we go. Finish as you've started. Squires. Steo. The squire is going to try and engage you again. Get a free attack.
Welcome to the sad bucket. That's actually a fail.
Okay, then they do indeed engage you. Can you give me a flat defense roll, please? If you get cut down by this squire, I swear to God.
I do actually succeed.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say that squire's blade just bounds off your plate, leaving nary a mark. Aaron,
Wait, what roll was that? I'm confused.
Wasn't the squire's attack?
But what was the second?
The first was the free attack.
Right. Okay.
If Steel succeeds with that free attack, he can keep the squire from they have to go through another free attack. But now they are fully engaged. Polearm mastery is gone now, right? I think because it's only on the free attack that you can keep them.
Useless except to prevent full engagement and crowd control.
Arendar.
I am going to swing my sword. Do the sword thing.
-3.
Hit with 6 damage.
Hit with 6 damage. You slash across their face again, but this time nowhere near as deep as you did before, and just leave a cut along their forehead, which will be irritating more than it is anything else.
I will also say to him, I swear I will free you from this nightmare in whichever way I can.
His eyes look sad and grateful. Steo.
Yeah, a real attack.
Mm-hmm. At a -1, please.
I still succeed.
And damage, are you pulling the blow again?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm sticking to the plan even if no one else is.
Okay. Accurate, then, please, first.
That is... How does this work?
I mean, you succeeded,
sorry. It's easy enough. It's 3 + 1 is 4. It's 2 damage.
All right. Yeah. It's two
Deep
damage.
impact.
That will do. Yeah. Again, a good solid clonk to the ribs, which will leave the squire bruised, but otherwise, not generally harmed. Ganderald is again. You know what? Actually, Ganderald is with a glance at Ascarai, sort of tentatively starting to move around the side of the pit towards Arendar and the Templar. Is Ascarai going to say anything?
I think I'd tell him, stay back, Ganderald. I don't want him to get I feel like, what kind of armor does Ganderald have, if any?
Ganderald is wearing... Let me tell you what Ganderald is wearing. Ganderald is wearing an order cloak.
That doesn't seem like much defense against
it's
the Templar.
Not much, no.
I will tell him to... I'll say, stay back. I think Aaron is doing very well. We don't want you to get just one shot by a Templar as you're trying to help, please.
All right, for now, I suppose. He looks rather worried. He looked worried as soon as kind of Arendar took the gash to the upper arm. But there we go. Ascarai, we're back round to you again in this. We seem to be entering a lot of stalemate combats recently, but
I think it's because we're trying not to kill. I think this would have been a lot quicker if everyone had been.
Quite possibly.
That said, let's
try and kill.
Some of us are trying not to kill. Okay.
Are you doing the armor piercing again?
Yeah, I'm gonna focus on the guy who I have my 2 chances against, and I'll try and do armor piercing. I need a 12 to hit him. I rolled a 9, so I do hit him.
That's a hit. You've finally gotten there. So damage, please, ignoring armor.
Is a 2 + 1, 3 damage, ignoring armor. Devastating.
Oddly, that doesn't get through his pain threshold. But Elindra, you hear like the thrum of an arrow passing you, and it sort of appears in the Templar's thigh, who, to his credit as a warrior, barely blinks as he continues his like footwork circle around you. But it's it's got a sting. Assuming no movement, Askarai.
I'm going to move closer to Gandalf.
A couple of steps there to just grab on his cloak if you can ask for it. Elindra.
I'm going to attack the guy.
Absolutely.
It's not imaginative.
Sure. Attack at a -3 then, please.
Sure. That is, I rolled a 2, so that's good.
That's a success.
All right, and it's like I've got a lot of armor to get through, so I'm rolling the full force of the sword, which is a 5.
Well, I'm afraid that does not go through the armor. So, with a clanging ring, your longsword impacts on his chest plate.
As a free action, I will just look him in the eyes and hiss, "By Prios's tits, won't you fall down?"
Doesn't look happy that you took Prios's name in vain.
Well, if he wants to have a faith off, I reckon I could beat him.
Why don't you give me a vigilant roll at a -2, please, to see if you notice this branding on the back?
Sure, vigilant -2.
In a couple of turns, I figure you're due another chance. No,
it's an 18.
Well, he's going to strike back at you for taking Prios's name in vain, and only that. Otherwise, he would have left off. So a defense roll, please, a flat defense roll.
Okie dokie. Buttons not working. Right, here we go. That is just about a pass.
Just about a pass. His sword goes whistling past you, and you feel the heat rolling off it. In fact, let's get a proper description of how this ability looks or feels. I'm assuming it has that in the core book. Now, when I say this ability is called Witch Hammer, but please do not assume that it is actually something to do with the story we are playing.
It's the Witch Hammer. We found it.
It shrouds the melee weapon with holy and blight-hating fire. So yeah, there's... which I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the combat, but certainly. I think that Witch Hammer Flame, you don't really see, though. I think it's like flame so hot it's almost translucent, so you only really notice when it's like coming for you.
But the guy's extra spicy.
It's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
It's translucently spicy.
Yeah. That's the spiciest of all.
It is. It's the spice you can't see that gets you. So don't look at me like that, John. I know exactly what I'm talking about. So John, defense, please.
Okay. Don't know why I made the noise. That is a success.
Which means you get a riposte.
Which is also a success and 8 damage.
That's a bit better, isn't it?
Nice.
Yes.
You strike out again and find a gap in the Templar's armor where the chest plate meets the back plate. You drive your sword through it, only a couple of inches or so, but as you withdraw, you see that there is a rivulet of blood running down the knight's flank and spattering on the floor. So you are dissecting him piece by piece. But yeah, it's going to be quite hard with these kind of blows to not kill him.
My plan was to chip him down, and now I'm going to start the non.
You feel he's pretty chipped down. He's quite chipped.
Yeah. By my calculations.
By your calculations, he is quite chipped. Steo, chip in the squire.
Chip in the squire.
Chip in the squire. Chip in the squire.
Okay, here we go. That is a success.
Name that tune. If anyone can, I will pretend to be impressed.
It's
Sorry.
Breaking the Law by Biggie Smalls. I succeeded, and the damage roll is 5 + 1 is 6 is 3.
3 damage. Okay, another solid clonk to the squire. I must ask: did Biggie Smalls actually do a cover of Breaking the Law?
No, he did not.
Okay. At this point, I will take a brief detour because I don't think I've told it on screen yet, and it is an amazing story from my own personal life that won't take long. While we're on the subject of Judas Priest, who wrote Breaking the Law, at my old school, there used to be big like boards on the walls with like former like head prefects and stuff like that. I went to quite a posh school despite not being posh myself. And one of them from the girls' school side of things in a former year was called Judith Priest, which we thought was amazing. That's it. That's the story.
I don't know what that has to do with Biggie Smalls, but sure.
Tangential.
Because she then dated Biggie Smalls, right?
Judith Priest famously dated Biggie Smalls.
Yeah.
Christ. So, as this combat creeps forward, it's one of those situations, unfortunately, where by the parameters of the game and the story, it's quite difficult for me to end it in any other way. They're not going to run away. They're ensorcelled. So, you know.
I would like to, because I wanted to take a free action to just scream over to Ganderol that they have these little marks on the back of their neck.
Ooh.
They've been branded something at the base of the neck.
Ganderald goes, oh, and he starts dashing around the pit towards Arendar and the Templar. Ascarai, are you going to stop him? Because we'll go on to your action now. I'm glad for you to like use your action rather than fire it, because it would be a combat action to try and fucking essentially tackle Ganderald. It's up to you. And you're on mute.
Now that there's an actual plan, I'm gonna allow it and just pray that Ganderald doesn't just end up like accidentally chopped in half. But
absolutely, John.
Is this happening out of sequence in Ganderald's excitement, or has the conversation about Judith Priest and Biggie Smalls made us skip over mine and Steo's turn?
Was it? Oh, because it was a riposte.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a spear.
I was confused. No, you do indeed get your turn. That's correct. So you can make your attack against the Templar.
Okay, this is going to be a with the basket hilt, I guess.
Sure,
I can't
whatever.
really think.
But like, see if you hit first.
Yeah. I don't hit anyway. It's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Your fancy footwork does you no good. Steo. No,
well, I
Steo's
took
already...
my turn. Yeah.
No,
so now we're on Ganderald.
That was your defense.
That was your defense, wasn't it? No?
Was it?
Against the squire.
No, because...
So why did I get a chance to bap him then? Because I blapped him.
Because she moved into your range.
No,
we were already engaged.
Oh.
No, I think I've had my turn.
Then.
I think me and Aaron went out of sequence, so I think we move on now to Ganderald.
Okay, that's fine. Well, Ganderald is sprinting off anyway, and is sort of around where Arendar is now. And clearly he has a plan. We'll go one more round, I think, folks, and hopefully it will end with some kind of drama to cliffhanger us on as we wail away at each other in this mid-game nightmare. Askarai, go for it. Have an impact on the battle, please.
I'm going to shoot at the Templar again. When I get 2 chances against, I'm going to do armor piercing. I rolled a 12 on my first attempt, so that hits. And I deal 7 damage ignoring armor.
So, unfortunately, that does not beat the pain threshold. But as Elindra, you know, this Templar Calfas is kind of like trying to edge around and kind of, you know, get a blow in you that you wouldn't expect. And he's definitely thrown off that by an arrow that pierces his neck, not his windpipe or his, you know, spinal column, but through the side of the neck there, through kind of the meaty chunk, you know, through the traps. Right there, and he takes a step back, and blood is gushing from the wound and soaking. You can see it soaking down his tabard under his plate, but it's clearly not a mortal wound and not one he's going to let stop him from carrying on trying to cut you down. And your response to that can happen now.
Yay! So what I'd like to do is, I don't know if there's a mechanism or a dice roll for this, but having heard about the brands and the things on the neck, I would kind of like to like feint with the bastard sword, but actually kind of pull out the dagger and see if I can use the dagger to like.
I'd say it's a nice idea, but in practice, he'll gut you like a fish if you try that. I'd say there's a number of things you could do. You could try and like cold shot it to the back of his neck, and I think that's very difficult. That's you know, if you roll a 1 on the attack, you do that.
Right.
Or I think the other option is you try and end this exchange in a way in which does not do much damage to you and does not kill him. The immediate thing that occurs to me is literally to bum rush him and grapple him to the floor. To just try and, you know, it does put you in a bit of danger. I'll give him a free attack against you if you don't kind of impact him and wrestle him.
Okay, so essentially, instead of trying to use the sword to hurt him, I am going for a move which is entirely about kind of knocking him prone and ending up on top of him.
Exactly. Yeah, you're tackling him, you're grappling him, you're trying to.
Let's do that. It's
dangerous, but
is that contested strength or what?
I think it's contested strength. And if you fail, as I say, he'll get a free attack on you.
Sure. What's his modifier then?
-5.
-5. So I need a 10. 50-50. Ooh, passed it.
There we go. You know, this has been a careful kind of like, you know, duel of two kind of, you know, advanced sword fighters. And he is taken somewhat by surprise, not only by the arrow in his neck, but at you just absolutely barging for him. You wrap you do some hand fighting essentially and get kind of your arm round his blade arm and use the locked blades together to push him backwards. And you just start running literally, and he just stumbles backwards. You crash down onto the floor on top of him, and you're just there. He's trying to heave you off. You're trying to hold him in place, and that is where you will remain until someone else, or we come back to you and him, or to, you know, his action. It's his action. You know what? Actually, no. I think you've taken him by surprise enough.
Yeah. The intention was to like skip the trying to do damage part in favor of the knocking him prone part, which I reckon has got to buy me a turn.
Yeah, he's knocked prone with you on top of him, and I think that's fine. I think next turn he'll start to be able to try and like wrestle you off him.
Sure.
But until then, absolutely. The Templar fighting Aaron is going to strike for Aaron. So, defense, please, at a -3.
Defense at -3. I thought defense was flat.
It is flat. You're right. I'm right.
I do not pass, but I'm going to spend an experience.
Okay.
and pass.
Okay. And are you trying to pull the blow?
On my riposte, yes.
Accurate, please.
That is a pass.
Okay. Damage, please, and divide it by 2.
Do I actually need to roll to hit as well?
Haven't you already done that?
No, I rolled for my defense.
Oh, okay.
And then
Sorry.
re-rolled for my defense.
Yeah. Roll for your hit then. Sorry.
That is a pass and 6 damage, so 3, right?
Correct. Half of 6 is 3. Sorry, being an asshole. I guess if you've got like a basket hilt to your sword, you duck inside the range of his swing and just kind of try and put. You don't actually get to his chin. You just punch him quite solidly in the chest. It's at the top of the chest plate, so it's not like directly on, so it doesn't hurt your hand. And it just kind of you hear like a gasp of breath from his body as the tight-fitting chest plate kind of impacts on his collarbones. He's visibly weaving on his feet right now.
Good.
So the squire attacking you, Chris. Please give me a flat defense roll, please. So that's them hitting, right? So give me an armor roll, please. You're on mute, by the way. Your armor roll is 6. Yeah, their sword clatters uselessly again. It would have been a good blow if you weren't wearing armor, but you are, and it clatters uselessly against you. So there we go. We're on to Aaron's turn. Aaron Dar.
I'm going to try for another punch in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
That is a success. Do you want me to roll accurate again?
If you're pulling the blow, then yes.
Also a success. 4, which is 2.
2 precisely. Very, very good. He makes exactly the same. He's tired. He's losing blood. He makes exactly the same mistake again. You duck under, and this time the punch with the wire. It's called we call it like a basket hilt. That might give people the wrong impression that it's like thin wire or something. These are big, thick chunks of metal, like curved round a fist into a gauntlet. They slam into the man's face with a crunch as you feel a cheekbone give under your blow, and he gives out a sort of grunt of just sort of confusion more than anything else, drops down to one knee and then pitches forward to the floor unconscious.
Nice.
There we go. So we have Steo.
Yeah, I think gotta carry on.
Mm-hmm.
On the miss.
That's a bad miss. So your spear arcs through the air, and all you manage to do is make the squire dance back a little bit. So we get to Ganderald, and Ganderald is going to immediately scrabble over to the fallen Templar, wrench his helm off his head, and with the fighting claws, is going to lean over towards where that brand is visible on the back of the neck, and sort of and literally start carving a huge chunk of flesh out of the back of the unconscious Templar's neck. And I am literally going to give him. Who wants to roll for Ganderald?
Not me.
I feel responsible for this Templar. I'll do it.
Okay. Give me. You're rolling against Ganderald's cunning, which is 13.
Okay. Success! 11.
Okay. In a few seconds' time, there is an unpleasant lump of flesh. You can see a very small amount of glistening white bone. He's cut literally to the spine at one point on this poor fellow's neck. As he pulls the flesh off, the brand starts hissing and spitting and letting off like steam and smoke, as if the surface of the flesh starts bubbling as if it's on a skillet over a fire. And Gangerald goes, "Ah!" and like flings it down into the pit below. Looks up at you and says, "Well, I hope that worked."
Are you all right?
I was going to end it on that, but
Sorry.
you probably don't have time to just have a conversation. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's our cliffhanger. Has that worked? We'll find out next week. So, thank you for joining us, dear viewers, dear crew. If you have any questions or comments, please do sling them into the chat. I've already seen the one saying that Judith Priest is a pun. I don't know. Well, is it though, or is it just a funny name? We won't talk of this again. Sling questions and comments into the chat. In the meantime, promo stuff, links below, YouTube, Twitch, social media, Discord, Patreon, all that good stuff. We are currently only on one series a week with this Symbaroum, regularly on Wednesdays. I know it's a Thursday tonight, but we were prevented from streaming last night by Twitch being not down, but not prioritizing the likes of us, as it had limited capacity to let people on. We should have a return of Monday night soon with Johnny running Vason, which I know everyone is very much looking forward to. We run one-shots monthly. There will be one in October. I will probably be running it, and I don't know what it is yet. So stay tuned for that one. John, comments, questions, well wishes, valid criticisms. I see a cyborg from Don't Kick Food. I mean, was that in reference to anything?
It was in reference to you gesturing towards your large amount of tabletop RPGs behind you.
Yeah. This arrived. I thought maybe I didn't post it. Yes, this arrived. It is a possibility for the one shot in October, just so you know. Yes, it's a lovely little package. The only negative thing I would say about it, other than the fact they put a barcode sticker on the back, which is like why I'm a Kickstarter backer, and it's difficult to remove. Anyway, the only other thing is what I'd say about most modern, lovely presentation RPGs, which is that they're clearly designed to be something nice to look at and not something really to read, because the binding is like, I don't want to move it wider than that in case it cracks the binding. So it's like, but it is lovely and it looks lovely and it smells delicious. So, you know, all these things.
Just read the PDF like a normal human person.
Right? Yeah. But yes, well spotted, Don't Kick Food. It is indeed Cyborg.
Also,
woohoo, Vason! Thank you.
And
yay, Vason. Yeah, everyone's really looking forward to it. So, is anyone here in it yet? John is in it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good stuff. What else we got? That's a big cat.
Yeah, we were having debates how large a meerkat actually is, because the only good reference image of it is compared to an ogre. But I figured they were probably like about,
I think it's like
panther size.
Yeah, cougar, panther type size, mountain lion size. Yeah, I think large lynx, whatever. Steve, it's always good when you don't get stabbed in the night. Sounds like a great slogan idea for some merch. It's not a bad shout. Curmudgeonly grandfather leads to I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yep, fair.
Yeah.
One second.
What else
we got?
Don't dead open inside.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the
now that's
the mood of the
do you work from Valve? Because that's an amazing bit of environmental storytelling right there. Zombies were here, but also stupid people.
The zombies might be made from stupid people.
Yeah. Lowin, maybe it was said already, but I'm curious when Mike will join the crew again. We don't know at the moment. We don't have a firm date. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But I'm sure everyone understands what it's like when life gets in the way.
We should
difficult to
totally
predict.
use this as emotional blackmail for him, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'll. He's my friend. I'm sure I will do that.
Tell him he could just come in and instantly kill like 200 undead
Yeah,
and
you
be a
missed it.
hero.
Mike, it was great. There were so many undead. You would have killed everything. Anyway, welcome back. You're being beaten by an ogre. Absolutely. Steve, Anton would clearly be reclining on a comfortable bench whilst eating from a plate loaded with food from a fine buffet. Absolutely. Well, we have been talking about how we're going to cover like Antom's side adventure. And the current let us know what you think about this. The current prevailing notion is that we'll run 1 or 2 sessions where Mike is playing Anton, and these 4 are playing NPCs and others he might encounter on the adventure. I guess they're PCs for the purposes of the adventure. That might be quite fun. It'll give Chris his yearning to play something that's not Steo. So who knows? He might stop suicidally charging at enemies, if that's the case.
6 health points.
These 4 are playing Goblin Messengers. Just the 2 sessions are going to be an endless sequence of Anton getting hoofed in the balls.
It's going to be Sideshow Bob stepping on rakes, but Anton getting hit in the balls.
Yes. And on that note, thanks for attending, everyone. We should be back next Wednesday with more Symbaroum. Maybe we'll actually get to Witchhammer by then. No, we won't. But we will get to Witchhammer soon enough, maybe after we've done this and maybe after Anton's bits. And maybe what I'm saying is I may have been shockingly preemptive in titling this arc The Witchhammer, because it feels like we're not going to get to Witchhammer until 2023.
But Witchhammer was used during this session,
counts.
so
it counts.
Yeah.
And regardless, we're having fun.
That's already a better connection than the last adventure where there was no Warden or Wrath.
I think there was quite a lot.
Okay, there was some Wrath, but
I think
was any
Alindra
of it-
brought her own Wrath on quite a few occasions.
That's true, but none of the Wrath was of the Warden, was it? Who's the Warden?
Maybe we were the wardens and we were wrathful.
There is a warden.
Maybe the real Warden is the friends we made along the way.
Oh god, did
do
we
you
miss
know-
the warden?
Do you know who the warden was and what the Wrath was?
No, I mean that's
Well,
exactly
no,
the
otherwise
point I was making.
I haven't picked. You know what? This is just my supposition from reading the entire thing in the background. I think the warden is Tiara Tiana, and you were the Wrath.
I mean, that's more obscure than that guy that actually used the Witchhammer skill. So
yeah. So there we go. Cool. All right. Thank you, folks. We will see you all soon. Take care and stay safe out there. Oh, we did have a load of subs and follows. Sorry, these guys thought they were going to go home. So follow since I last talked about them. So other people might have mentioned them, but Storm and Ghost Wolf, Professor Broke, Slagger Mulps, that's an amazing name. Hazmat86. Thank you for the follows. Thank you, Steve, for the bits tonight. And thank you for resubscribes to John, H.J. Berg, and Lord Malice. As John, I'm looking at a stream screen that's a few seconds behind, so I can still see John laughing at the name Slagger Mulps. So there we go. Lovely. Good night, Slagger Mulps, and good night to everyone else. See you next week, folks.